All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Season 8 of the Baddy Overwatch League. I'm HS0, and I'm so happy to be back. I am here with Rakudo, and we are here to bring you all Game 1 of the night. We've got Give Reinhardt Wall Climb against Social Distancing from the Cart.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how these two teams are going to, battle each other, and especially with those very interesting and lovely names. I kind of giggle every time.
Yeah, it's week one. Week one is always a very exciting time to be in the BOL because everyone still has their hopes up. Every team looks at themselves and has convinced themselves of the best case scenario. And if history has taught us anything, it's that really quickly some of these teams are going to realize they're not winning this season. Now the question is, will it be either of these teams?
Yeah, that is a big question. I mean, you're looking at like the individual players and see what they're doing, but you also have to look at how they synergize with each other. And maybe if someone's going to rage on somebody else, that might affect their performance. So it's important to look at all the things happening, look at everything.
Yeah, now I'm really excited to see one question as we head into this first game here. Both of these teams, I'm wondering who's going to end up playing tank. There are two tank mains between both of these teams, and they are the bench players according to the signups. So these are going to be some off-roll tank players, and we've seen a lot of Baddy League teams kind of get tanked by bad tank play before. So let's see what happens here on Dorado. We've got Give Reinhardt Wall Climb on the defense, social distancing from the cart, hopefully not too distant from that cart, pushing on up.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about this is that you have Chris on Soldier. We know he knows a good soldier, but it's nice to see that there is going to be a symmetric. We can see how these turrets are going to play out if they do play out, but also when that all comes out, we're going to see some big ones.
Yeah, it looks like Give Reinhardt Wall Climb content just to give up to the corner here, as now we've got the offense actually going for a really hard flank here. They have socially distanced from the cart here, and everyone's kind of engaging. The offensive Reinhardt, the offense just falling apart here, actually. This did not work out.
Yeah, Maywalls are pretty freaking nasty, and we're definitely have to see what they're going to do with them. I feel like maybe either surprise TP or TP in a good angle might be their best defense, but never mind, they're actually going to switch to McCree. They want to get that stuff.
Yeah, McCree Zarya going to be the swaps there from SDFK. So we'll see if they can get a little more going here. So double hit scan.
They have a lot of shields to get in and do things, but with the Mei, it's going to completely stop all that. Oh, there!
Yeah, and speaking of the devil, that Mei wall just being a nuisance right now as this offense trying to push here, getting kind of stuck up in this good old Dorado choke point.
Oh, it looks like not too much is going to happen with that window, unfortunately. It's always nice to see a fire strike go through there, so...
Yeah, who actually crystallized, maybe getting a little ahead of his team there, and that's the first member of the defense down. And now here we go, Graviton Surge coming out, no defensive ult coming out to stop that, and SDFK going to be mopped off on the card.
That grab is definitely a nasty thing. And that stagger is going to be pretty crucial too. It's going to be an extra, like 7-10 seconds happen.
Yeah, and this is still, this is probably going to be the big fight here, is you look, there's a lot of ults available in both directions here. A big one, Snipes with the Transcendence available on the defense, so they have the chance. Oh, there we go, that's a huge pick though. K4 gets the pick onto Chris DPG, Grandmaster on SDFK. That's going to buy a little more time here.
Seemed like he was definitely trying to go for that flank to get the advantage, but unfortunately, they saw that coming.
Yeah, so they're just waiting. That soldier is now charging in. He is going to have an ult available when he gets to this fight, as they're really trying to set this one up. They want to get an ideal setup here because they can't really afford to lose with these ults.
You're powered up. I've got you in my
sights. We unfortunately have a disconnect, it looks like. Tuna sub dropping out. Game going to auto pause right as the fight was breaking out. That is incredibly unfortunate.
I know if you're Chris DPG, your favorite thing ever is to, as soon as you use your ult, for the game to pause so everyone can think and plan on how to deal with your ult, especially when you're Nano too. Man, what a perfect time.
Well, fortunately he's back, so we won't have to worry about any of the potential outcomes involving a real DC. But it would not be the Baddy League without a couple of pauses.
Now, the best thing right here, I feel like Crystallize should probably ice wall Christy PG to give that Shieldson thing. However, if you're looking at Bark, he's looking like he's going to go for a pretty big shot. So there's a pretty big choice of what to make. If you want to wall the Shatter, if you just want to use Dank's shield. So we'll see what happens in this play right about now.
Yes, here we go. Nano Soldier coming in, and that's that Ryan Shatter out of Dank. Sorry, that was not Dank Johnson. That was Shatters in both directions. A lot of ults not doing a whole lot, but Morty getting some good damage here on the McCree. He picks up 2 kills.
I cannot believe that Shatter hit 4 to 5 people, and they did not clean it up. That sucks.
Oh yeah, but Senpai maybe turning this fight around. He does pick up 2 kills on the tail end, and now Senpai up in the window, looking for High Noon, gets the kill on a Crystallize. That's 3 members of the defense down, and they're not done. Transcendence can be forced to save the members that were alive there, but that was probably a little too late. Snipes probably should have held on to that one. And now members of the defense being staggered as the cart's being pushed. That's going to be 0.1 going over to social distancing from the cart.
Yeah, but they're on that cart, so they are failing at their own name. They are not keeping a distance, and that is quite dangerous.
Police.
Yeah. The police. They better come.
Alright, so as we look towards this next fight here, not a lot of ults available immediately. There are 2 here from the defense. And here we go, Crystallize, not going to wait around with 1. Nice, gets the kill onto Bark very early. Senpai Frozen going to go down as well. That should be a defensive hold here. Only 1 ult committed.
Yeah, it looks like they're making the choice to not progress, which is pretty good. I maybe have a Lucio so I can escape pretty well. But here it is, a switcheroo onto Widow and the other guy, I can't remember his name.
Widow and Baptiste coming out here.
Thank
you. Did Otterbutter blow the Lucio ult in that last fight and I missed it? I thought
I wasn't paying attention. I have no idea. I'm a caster. I don't look at things.
Yeah, I might have missed it here. I haven't casted Overwatch in a while, folks. We're still getting back in the swing of things, but couple ults available in both directions here. So we'll see what does social distancing try to do. Is here we go. Soldier ult coming out of Chris DPG, but Graviton being chucked out with no defensive ult, but doesn't matter. Bark with the fat slam and social distancing from the cart. Gonna social distance, give Reinhardt walk line from their lives.
Yeah, that fat chat was pretty nasty. I felt that in my own bone, you know?
Yeah, GRWC lost that fight so fast they didn't even really have a chance to ult. It was just Spade's Graviton Surge that went out there. So if there's any silver lining here, it's that they're going to have some ults available here on this 0.2 defense attempt. We'll see. Josh Danko is kind of holding up very far forward here, buying his team time to get back, but he's taking some damage. Spades is taking a lot in the back line. This is a good ice wall, though. They're splitting off Bark, and here we go now. Morty on the flank looking for the McCree ults. Not going to find anyone. Bark only got 1 with that Shatter there. But it looks like numbers being forced back here. Now Josh kind of pressing forward. This is turning out to be good for the defense.
Yeah, it was really nice. I was watching Senpai a little bit, and he was putting a lot of pressure onto their backline, so they couldn't just like go out and brawl out, you know, referring to Team Blue. I think that's Give Reinhardt Wall Climb. Is that who they are? Yeah. So we'll see what happens again, but right now Morty is pretty much looking for this flank. I don't know if Senpai's going to live through this.
Yeah, Senpai does pop the sights though, and here we go. We got Chris DPG's actually up on the high ground, uncontested right now, trying to put some damage on the back end, but it's not working. He's lost multiple teammates here, and I'm thinking this push is about to come to an end unless Senpai does something real crazy here up on the high ground, but 1 kill not going to be enough. Is Active Locket, the last one standing on the cart, going to go down, and that is going to be a 0.2 hold out of Give Reinhardt Walk Line.
Yeah, I mean, looking at all things aside, there was a lot of times that was really unfortunate where they couldn't just get that push that they needed, but they still pushed past first point, which is an accomplishment none the least.
Yeah, you know, there have been plenty of Baddy League matches. All right, looks like we'll have a pause here. Tuna Subs hopefully able to get his internet stuff sorted out.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't have to tune a sub out for somebody else. I'm proud of that one so much. Oh, I hope no one ever says that again. Except me.
Yeah, so tuna sub, maybe just not. The internet's kind of overloaded right now. Maybe this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Hopefully nothing bad, because we definitely want to see a clean match. No one likes people discoing. Even on the other team, they don't like it. They want a fair match. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they're assholes. Me, I like a fair match.
Yeah, same. I think that's how most people feel. So, fortunately, we have this beautiful auto pause feature, which is a big improvement on the old days of Overwatch, where you had to spam pause in chat and hope the streamer caught it immediately.
Oh, you would also hope the person like leading like the whatever he would also pause, because a lot of times it's like pause, 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 and you're like, where the fuck's the pause button? I can't find the pause button. Oh my god, is there a pause button? And then it would never pause. But
All right, so switching sides here. So, like we were saying a moment ago, at least social distancing, able to get almost to point two. And, Dorado, we've had a lot of Baddy League matches over the years, ends at this very first choke point. So, this is a very winnable map on defense if you are social distancing.
I'm actually a little bit nervous because looking at social distancing, they've got like after wall. After they use the ice wall, if I'm gonna learn names eventually. If Give Reinhardt wall climbs able to push forward, because they have a pretty brawly comp, it's gonna be a little bit more trouble for them.
5, 4,
So we'll see how well they can push and how well they can kind of just speed in if needed.
escort the payload.
So a lot of the same picks coming out of Give Reinhardt wall climb. Big swap Crystallize going over to the Genji. So we'll see here. It's just the
so they're gonna
out of bulk war.
They're gonna back away. It looks like they're gonna get ready. Although Sigma is not in the best spot, so if they were actually just go and just kill a Sigma right here, they have a lot of mobility, I guess, but never mind. Whatever I said was useless.
Active Locket will make it back to his team in time as the barriers are coming out. As there is a Crystallize over here on the flank, looking to do something, or at least get people thinking about the flank.
I think he's mostly just trying to farm ult at this point, because he just wants ult. That's the main point. Go on ult to get ult.
Here we go. Oh, Reinhardt's going in. Josh Danko going to be the first to fall. And that is probably going to be a stop on that push for now.
Yeah, it really sucks playing Ryan against that choke when we versing him May. It's probably one of the most unfun things in this fucking game. As a Ryan player, I know.
Well, Josh not going to swap as of yet. So we've got Give Reinhardt wall climb kind of flanking around here. Is this flank play is the play today?
Yeah, definitely see how this goes.
Yeah, Josh leading the charges. We got two Reinhardts staring at each other's shields here.
It looks like they're still just trying to get that farm up. Oh, it looks like they're starting pretty soon.
Yeah, Josh positioning very aggressively, but K4 gonna be the first to go down. It's gonna be a trade. K4 and Chris DPG down in their respective directions. As Josh Danko playing this very aggressively. This cart is now pushed past the choke point, and Josh dropping the hammer. But a hammer coming out of Bark in the other direction. But he's already lost a few of his teammates, even though his shadow was the big one. This is looking good for Give Reinhardt wall climb, as they're now mopping up the other team, and this should be point one.
That's definitely going to be point one. I would be very surprised if that didn't happen. Out of nowhere, they get off the cart to social distance themselves away from the cart.
Yeah, so this is now a decent amount of time here to push most of the way to point two. Looking at ults, there are a lot of ults available for this next fight, so this will likely be the explosive kind of game-deciding fight here with all these ults available.
They do have a pretty brawly thing. Right now we have Chris on Doomfist, so as long as once that fight starts, we're going to see him just flying in there. And already a May Wall is going to get a kill.
Yeah, there could have been some ult here. Morty gets the kill on a tuna sub, but then dies shortly thereafter. There should be a defensive ult for now.
Yeah, he did get fisted pretty hard right there.
So here we go. Ults coming out. It's a lot of ults coming out. Everyone brawling on top of everybody else's ults right now, as the kills are kind of slow to come out, but it is a lot of members of the offense going down here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have the ult economy, so they could do it. But we'll see this next fight what happens. Because right now, the only thing they're going to have coming up is Shatter, and they do have Window. So if they were to talk amongst themselves, be like, "All right, listen, I'm gonna put a window up, and you fire strike, maybe get a kill," because like that's 200 damage. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the big one here, though, there is no defensive ult. Here we go. The Nano Blade coming in, potentially uncontestable. He's taking out Senpai. Otter down as well. This is looking good for Give Reinhardt wall climb as Crystallize gets a few kills and creates a lot of pressure. There have been Josh Danko, the only member of the offense to die, but this is looking like it'll be a... No, actually, there's more bodies around here than I had thought. And this push actually, really, they haven't moved the card. They're now just finally moving the card. But that's going to be a lot of time for the defense to spawn and get back out and contest this next point.
Yeah, that was actually pretty clutch for Red. I mean, they defend that a long time, and like I said, this game is mostly fighting for. Oh.
Yeah, but ooh, that could be the game-ending goal here. Josh Danko sends a few right onto their backs. Senpai and Bark down. Otter losing the barrier, and this cart, somebody has to step on it. Sigma contesting with his body. No, Sigma, you gotta stay on that cart, my dude. This game's about to end, but I don't think it matters. It was a valiant attempt, but not enough, and that is going to be Give Reinhardt wall climb taking Dorado.
Yeah, that fat chat. Always seeing fat chats everywhere. That's what this game has mostly been on.
Play of the game.
We're gonna see that play of the game. I'm sure it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, here we go. Fat Shat, straight in the grab. You already got all your team there to follow up. Might as well fire strike through. Easiest fight of his life.
Yeah, that was a clean push. Clean kill. Alright, that is to game 1. Game 2, what do you think we're going to expect to see? What map is it? It's going to be
So we are going to go into Hanamura next, yes. So 2 CP, everything
like
kind of on the table.
Probably going to be more Mei, because holy shit. If I don't see more Mei, I'll be really confused, especially if they play this much Mei under.
Yeah, pretty powerful. We have entered the age of Mei.
I feel like the whole Hanamura map is mostly, like you have the brothers, Genji and Hanzo. That's like their area. But Mei was pretty much just like, hey, listen, I know you got this, right? But I feel like this is mostly my map, so you can just, fuck up.
All right, so I think we are gonna just take a moment here. Tuna Sub's gonna restart just to make sure it maybe fixes his disconnecting issues.
Yeah, so does that mean we are on break, or do we just keep talking and say a bunch of shit? Okay, I'm going to keep talking and say a bunch of shit.
So one interesting thing in that match, the two Reinhardts that were kind of getting shatters left and right, both players that had tank as their third role listed. Josh Danko in particular, I know, is going to draw a lot of questions, as he was traditionally a tank player who has spent the last 3 years trying to convince the BOL he should play another role. And unfortunately for him, it all ends with him coming back and playing tank again.
Yeah, I actually signed up myself for playing. I think tank was my last, just because I wanted to fill, and I'm playing tank again, which is fine. I mean, I mained in it. You play a lot of it.
Yeah, but these tanks, we're playing well, these Reinhardts in particular, even if it was not their top role listed. And I don't know Bark, so third role can mean I can't play this at all, or it can mean I play all 3 roles, and you never really know. Josh, obviously, is more of the latter.
Yeah, I mean, looking at like the SR and everything, like Josh does have a 3.9 as his SR for tank, and Bark is a 3.5. And Bark, honestly, like, it doesn't mean he's bad in any way, shape, or form. Like, if you get to 3.5, like, as main tanking, like, fuck yeah, man. So, like, he's still pulling out some great shots. He's still blocking as much as he can. I don't know what their comms are like, so I don't know if there's going to be like, let's dance everyone, and then everyone starts breakdancing. Or is there going to be like, let's push through and kill everyone, and then everyone starts pushing through and killing everyone. So
Is that all it takes to have good comms? Did I just not tell my teams to push through and kill everyone enough?
Yeah, I think next time you need to do that.
How did I play Overwatch for 3 years and never figure that out?
I don't know. Sucks
Man,
to suck, I guess.
yeah, it did suck to suck. I can confirm that much. So, Hanamura here. Another map that I feel these are some good maps tonight. These are some nice original OG Overwatch maps. This takes me back to season 1, 2 Divas.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, but oh my god, yeah, season 1 was like what? I think like for pro scene, the comp was like 2 Winstons, 2 Tracers, and then like was it like 2 Lucios or I don't even remember.
Attackers incoming.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
That was ridiculous. I'm glad they changed that. Like my favorite thing is to play against 2 Tracers. Oh wow, look at everyone having fucking fun.
Somewhere in the world.
All right,
But anyway.
so looking at this, I don't expect to see Senpai stick to this Bastion, although I'm not ruling it out. But on the defense here, we've got Give Reinhardt Wall Climb. I was really hoping Give Reinhardt Wall Climb would run the only Reinhardt in the game and make this a lot easier to cast, and I knew that wouldn't be the case.
Oh yeah, and it looks like they're going to go for that TP, and it depends on if fuck, I can never remember which names. Well, I should like see their name at some point. But blue team, if they're gonna catch this or not.
Yeah, so social distancing from the cart, very distant from the cart here. They have teleported onto this point, already uncontested up to the first tick. As a retake attempt has to come out here from Give Reinhardt Wall Climb, as they are kind of just making their way onto this cart. Ice walls, shield walls coming out, tanks being traded here early. As this is a pretty high commitment fight, but multiple members of the offense now starting to fall. Morty, she's kind of fragging out here on this point, and it looks like there's going to be a few members of the defense dying, but overall this is going to be a hold from the defense, but they did give up 42% of the fight.
Yeah, honestly, it does not matter how many assists you get. If you weren't prepared for the TP, definitely 100% at least let the first tick go, prepare up, set up, get ready to go in and get ready to do it. Because like, if you just go right in as fast as you can just to stop any type of little tick, you're gonna. So it was good that they stopped for a second, gather their thoughts, gather their abilities, and then went in.
Yeah, and it worked for them. So now we'll see here as they teleport not quite as far forward this time. They're going to go for the high ground instead. As here we go. Well, High Noon is coming out of Morty, but she is not going to find anyone with that one. As the poke war is kind of going high ground versus low ground here. As Give Reinhardt Wall Climb and kind of being flanked around on now. Is actually a lot of damage going out here that's maybe starting to stick. Damage from behind this Bark Shield is now finally we see the offense making their way onto the point here. But here we go. That Beast ult coming out of Otterbotter. This is going to help the defense a lot, even though they've lost space. They've lost Morty, and now a hammer being dropped by Dang Jock Show, and he is swinging away. This is looking great for the defense.
I don't know if you saw that.
It was. And now Bark maybe kind of to mop things up here. It was looking good for a moment for the defense, but that moment didn't last long enough, and actually Give Reinhardt Wall Climb going to be taken out on the point. Social distancing going on to point 2 with a lot of time to spare.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but Bark had a pretty nice charge where he finished the Mei off and didn't jump off the point and die. So, you know, that's always important.
Yeah, that looked like it was kind of the turning play that I didn't get a chance to call out there. But we may not have a whole lot of time here as social distancing on the offense. They did get one member picked off here and actually Give Reinhardt Wall Climb. He's going to try to capitalize on it. Still a 5v6, and here we go. Graviton coming out, but not a lot being shot into it just yet. Here we go now. High Noon in both directions. Neither McCree going to find anyone with it though, but this is still looking good for the defense. Oh, here we go though. Christy PG. Active Locket coming in on the side. They get a few bodies. And this offense kind of pushing forward. This is still a pretty even fight here. Is social distancing from the cart now, making their way out of the point. And Snipes just wants to buy time on this point. Transcendence coming out, and that will buy a lot of time for respawn. Now, here we go. Crystallize able to drop the Blizzard onto the point. There's been 0% taken here by this offense, and this very long push is going to ultimately mean nothing.
Yeah, that's gonna suck. I mean, they ended up using Maisol for that, but they defend the point, and they got some staggers, and they got all charge. I think that's some very important things. You have to look at, like, whenever someone staggers onto the point, or depending if it's especially a tank, you don't want them to have a lot more all charge given to the other team. So, boink.
Alright, so as we look towards this next fight, so on the offense, Otter and Tunisub both have their ults available. Bark is getting pretty close on that Reinhardt Shatter as well. In the other direction, actually, we have some swaps coming. K4 is still just now leaving spawn. I don't think this will matter, but K4 swapped over to that Ana, so Ana Zenyatta. Oh, Crystallized does get picked off early, though, and Josh Danko has to go in with the Shatter very aggressively. He dies as he drops it, though, and now this has to be the fight for social distancing from the cart. They're up 2, dropping out of the point. Morty looking for the McCree ult, doesn't find anybody, and this is looking very good for social distancing. They've lost Tunisub, though, so nothing with that Brigetta ult. Josh Danko has respawn here as now K4 gets picked off on the side. Bark trying to make his way back up onto the point. They're at 46% right now and getting some staggers here. No members of social distancing are really falling here as ChrisDBG is really kind of fraying out on this point. Now it's just Crystallized in a block of ice, trying to buy some time. Will not last very long. Nearly at 2 ticks here. These bodies coming out one at a time. Another McCree ult coming out of ChrisDBG. Not necessary, and that is 0.2 going to social distancing.
Yeah, they're gonna have the extra 2 minutes on the clock, 2 and 20, or 19, I guess, if you want to be exact. I like rounding things. I don't know about you guys, but it's definitely interesting to see how Wall Climb's gonna deal with this, and what they're gonna do if they can get either match time, or if they can get an extra time. It's gonna be some big questions.
Yeah, and a lot of these fights, it's kind of felt like it's been consecutive fights where the first fight is a loss for the offense, but it did a lot to set up the next fight.
Yeah,
and that we'll see if Reinhardt Wallclimb can match that at all.
It's definitely one of those things where, like, once they kind of go in, and if they die to it, they can get a lot of intel on what they're looking at or what they're dealing with. Generally, it might be best to like see the intel and learn the intel before you go in and die, but that is how it happens sometimes, you know?
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
The true struggle is for the superior.
Alright, so with teams swapping here, we've got Senpai ChrisDBG doing May McCree is the carry of damage carries for social distancing.
I'd say it's about.
Give Reinhardt Wallclimb still setting up here. By the way, Give Reinhardt Wallclimb is an awful team name because there's no way to shorten that. You can't just call it Reinhardt.
I can guess Grindheart. Nah, I don't know why I said
I might
that.
just start calling him Wallclimb.
That's
So we got Wallclimb on offense here, running Lucio, Moira, some shieldy boys. A lot of shieldy boys both directions in this game.
yeah, it's been really nice because Active Locket has been on that. Oh, I'll leave you.
Yeah, we got so fast entry coming out of Wallclimb here is a lot of shift keys being pressed here. Morty going down early, and this is looking good for the defense here as they're now pushing forward, getting a couple of staggers, getting some ult charge. That May wall doesn't really accomplish much as the staggers may still be coming through here. Yeah, it looks like social distancing, they really want to push forward. They really want a hard stagger, get a ton of ult charge here, and they did get spades for their efforts. Good first fight for the defense.
It's been very interesting because, like, watching this almost mirror beside supports, you know, having the Brig on defense is nice, and having the Lucio on offense is even nicer. But if they're going to just speed in everything, like, it's not. I don't know. I don't know if they have that amount of damage to deal with it.
Here we go. Josh going in, being split from his team. Is now both of the hammers have been dropped here. This is Reinhardt's traded.
Yeah, in times when there's Reinhardts, when they're coming to Shatter, like, if they're versing double shield, sometimes you don't want to use Shatter. You may just want to hold on to it and give them the fear that you have Shatter. Because, like, there are so many shields.
Yeah, here we go. McCree coming out of ChrisDBG here. Just buying some zoning. You know, actually, he finds Josh Danko, and that's a big pick. Now, Crystallized down, too. ChrisDBG gonna single-handedly stop that push in its tracks.
That's the one thing about McCree. He can definitely zone pretty well if you don't have the full offense to deal with him when he's doing his ult.
Yeah, now time kind of turning into the enemy here for Wallclimb. So looking at this next fight, they're going to have Sigma ult in a second here. They've got Crystallized with the May ult in a second here. And yeah, it looks like, here we go. Some ult being popped from Active Locket in the other direction. Now High Noon being popped from Morty. Lucio ult came out of K4. That is a lot of ults here from this offense. As I don't think they realize Active Lockets is up above them. Senpai and Josh Danko both going down. So it's a 1-for-1 early. Now Tunisub Autobot are down as well. This is going to be good for the blue side as this is making its way onto the point here. But both of those blue healers do go down. I don't know how much that's going to matter, though, because it's just a Sigma here off the point. Trying to buy time, I think, but he's not even stopping the point from being taken right now. Is Active Locket just buying a little bit of time on this point, but he is about to die, and that is going to be a cap here for Walkline.
Yeah, they get it, and because it's 2 CP and everyone loves 2 CP, extra 3 fucking minutes for 1 point.
Defense point.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so they took their time getting there, but they still have the chance to win these first rounds outright if they can cap second point under 2 minutes here. Looking at the ults available, they're coming
Speeding
close
into
on a
main,
couple.
already on point.
So here we go, forcing a drop and a retake. As May ults, oh Jesus, it is getting snowy on this point of Hanamura right now. No one going down just yet, but Josh Danko very low. Josh Danko down, Tuna Sub also down in the other direction. Chris DPG got to take out Crystallized K4 as well. This is looking good for red side.
Yeah,
So
so one negative side. So one negative side of going into main is that if you don't clear people up on the high ground, I mean, then they're just gonna keep shooting.
Much better.
High ground is very dangerous, and something you have to be aware of, especially if you have some pretty good hit scan play.
Yeah, and it did work for them. Some big brain gameplay coming out here on 2CP, as the game mode is known for. So we're looking into this next round. We got both Rhines with shatters available. I've been waiting a bit for a good shatter. Here we go. Charges coming in. Maywall going to split these teams off, but I don't... Well, sorry, Josh Dago actually already down, so that was aforementioned shatter now unavailable, and Bark pushing forward. They want to mop this team up. They shouldn't need to commit any more ults here, and they're going to get some nice staggers, get some nice ult charges. Bark. Oh no, wait. You can jump off there.
Yeah, as long as he keeps using those fire strikes to get the his ult up, like, maybe as soon as the fight starts, that would be great, but we'll see what happens.
You know, we do see a swap Spades onto the Zarya here.
It's going to be some good damage, and it's definitely going to be some easy charge to get, especially versus, you know, these teams, because they are definitely running at each other with full force. There's not a lot of flanking going.
Yeah, so here we go. Yet another one of these high ground pushes coming through. Josh Danko still has that shatter available, so he's going to be looking for it. As here we go, some ults now starting to come on. Active lockdown. The Sigma has ulted, and they have gotten 40 nice and early here. As now everyone kind of in this choke. The offense kind of forcing some bodies back here. Bodhi did go down while this was all going on before there was a chance to pre-ult. Here we go, Hammer being dropped. This is a very big fight in tight spaces, but this is, oh my god, a big win for Walkline here, as they're now onto the point. We've got May trying to buy time here, but not buying a whole lot of it. Now that's 2 ticks and counting over. Sigma, you gotta step out of the point. No, he doesn't. He steps back. His team was there. He could have bought more time, and that was a costly mistake from Active Locket, which means we are going to round 3.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely, it would have been nicer to get on that point to get some more seconds off, but it seemed like, you know, they kind of had to still. But yeah, definitely, as much time to take off as possible is the best, because you want to stop the enemies from, you know, winning. And
yeah, and there were, I think, 3 members coming out of spawn there, including a Brigetta that was basically 2 steps from the point when that round ended. There probably would have been a decent amount of stalling if he had bought an extra couple of seconds on the point there. And that's the Baddy Overwatch League. Sometimes people, you know, fights get crazy. Not everyone has the game sense to know that. And that means we have extra rounds here.
yeah. So the one thing that I do like, oh my god, I am just forgetting about everyone's name.
Well, that's fine, because the one thing that I do like is hype trains.
Yeah.
Thank you, hype train. Don't stop.
All right, let me. Woo!
Just like we have Give Reinhardt Walkline, I'm going to try to not stop pushing these points here, as they are going with Symmetra. Reaper is the DPS here. Brigetta, Moira going to be the healers, as they're sticking with their Ryan Zarya. And now a whole lot changing on the defense here, as we now do have Brigetti both ways. I can't even remember how to pronounce her name. It's been so long. We're going to just say something different every time. Ooh, Josh Dango, though, goes down early here. Now K4 down as well. Big Shield, Little Shield, both dead on this point. And that is going to be a lot of ult charge over Chris DPG as he gets all the kills here.
It we're ready for that. Which means they need to die as fast as possible and get ready for the next fight, because they're only going to have one more fight. Possibly two if they Lucio and go as fast as they possibly can, but generally, this is probably going to be the last fight. So the thing they may want to do is they may want to just try to get L charge and block without too much shield damage, recharge shield, go in with what they can. But who knows? We'll see what happens. Stay tuned right now!
35 seconds to go here, so this is it.
30 seconds.
So they're taking their time here. Symmetra set up a teleporter in the window, and now everyone going in the window, but that's a great May wall. Oh, the Senpai gonna split that team in two, and you have to think this offense has offended me, it has offended the Overwatch guys, and it's going to be stopped in its tracks here. K4, Josh, they go down, big shield, little shield, unavailable. 10 seconds to play as these four members just trying to panic flank over towards the point, but I don't think they're going to even touch here, as this May wall won't even give them the opportunity, and that has been a great hold out of social distancing.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate to watch that, but you definitely want to see more Overwatch happening, but it feels like they're not going to go to the next point. They're going to be stopped right here. Anyway, so social distancing from the cart with a K.
All they got to do is get one tick here, which means the Symmetra port onto the point and get the tick strat is actually available if you think you can cash the other team off with it. You have to think after multiple rounds in a row that Symmetra push, we're probably not going to see it again, but
yeah, if they do, like, one thing I like to have, and I know everyone's probably going to be a little upset once they say this, but I like a Junkrat, especially when they TP, because holy crap, if you just jump on that TP, use all of your abilities, everything you possibly can, even your dead body is going to get some kills.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I mean, it's just a lot of explosion. An explosion is what everyone likes to see. I don't know about you, but a good kaboomy is always nice to see. I like.
I do like seeing some bombs popping off. And so we're going to get to see at least some of them as Crystallize on this Junkrat here, as they're trying to play for everyone's favorite outcome in Overwatch, the tie.
5,
That's what I like. I like to see it.
3,
I get to see kaboomies.
1.
It looks like they're also, Senpai is definitely going to try that TP strap, but they are prepared for it. They are ready for it. I feel like they're going to TP like on the higher ground instead of on the point, so maybe a little bit more different than they want. But we'll definitely see what's about to happen.
There they are.
Yeah, so here we go. We got social distancing making their way up, teleporting the tanks away from the rest of the team. But everyone kind of making their way up towards the points. Reinhardt, all playing near the point, but here we go. Morty does take out Senpai nice and early. So that may slow down this push quite a bit here. So everyone's just kind of getting some ult charge right now. Poke war is ongoing.
We do have two people down now, so it looks like they're going to back away as fast as possible because they do not want to stand here. I made it. If Chris can get at least a pick.
Yeah, Chris DPG maybe wanted to go just jump off a cliff there. That was an aggressive option to try to look for a trade pick there. And K4 even just another really late pick on somebody. That's a lot of time staggered out of this fight and a lot of ult charge going over to the defense.
Yeah, to be honest, that pick right there may have actually made it into maybe possibly two fights into only having one more. So that was a pretty hefty pick.
Yeah, well done from give Reinhardt walk line here. So looking to hold on for just one more fight now. So here we go, Symmetra teleporter. Where is it gonna go? Is it going to be used? Oh, Senpai going to die there. Nice and early. Morty has just been fragging out all match long so far.
Those are some really nice picks you want to see. I don't know what they're gonna.
If they slow push you, they can get Senpai back into this fight, but it looks like they're gonna kind of set up so Senpai can maybe get towards this point on contest. And here we go, High Noon coming out of Chris DPG looking for something. Not going to find it though. There's a lot being popped on this point now. The High Noon coming out of Morty. We got a 1-for-1 being traded here early in this fight as everyone is on this point. Josh Danko gets a nice hammer that's going to drop a few members of the offense onto their backs, but still not a lot of kills coming out. Here we go, Senpai down on his entry, Crystallized down. That's DPS traded as we see a lot of members on this point, but this is still looking very close here. It's active locking on the Sigma, trying to buy time. Otterbotter making it in on the Baptiste. Here we go, Bark. We've got the offense. They've got closer spawns here, kind of making it back in time. They take out Josh Danko. Morty has to just touch this point. We go, Transcendence coming in. Yeah, the Transcendence, no, Transcendence was used to get to the point, so cannot heal anyone. Morty dead, Snipes dead. We've got a Lucio here. How much time can K4 buy? Cannot let this team get to a tick here as he steps off the point for as long as possible, but it is not going to matter. And the staggers are going to go the way of the offense, and social distancing from the cart is going to take Hanamura.
Yeah, that was a really close match, too. That was definitely something I'm sure a lot more people would rather see than just a stomp. So it was definitely awesome on both parties.
Yeah, play of the game going to be this Moira here, just healing away, putting some nice damage out into these tight hallways. And you know what? I'm sick of toxic DPS players ZZZing my healer play of the games.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well played, my Moira.
Epic.
So they always play the 3 matches, right?
So they will always play the 3 games, correct, as this does affect tiebreakers down the line. So
Definitely exciting to see what happens in this 3rd match because, you know, I mean,
they're playing for
because-
match win, which is the best case scenario.
yeah.
So we're going over to Lijiang Tower, which fortunately means there will be no draws. Somebody will win this match. Somebody will have a winning record heading into week 2.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see what's going to happen with this match. I feel like for certain that Give Ryan Wall Climb is going to take this one. I believe in them. I have the full thought power that they can win. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, you take it.
Yeah, same. So Lijiang Tower, curious to see what is going to change here. A lot of the picks we've been seeing, I think we're going to see a lot of this May still. A lot of the, I assume this McCree is going to be here to stay. We've had McCree in both directions for a lot of the nights.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they're going to stick with some hit scan, or if they're actually going to resort to a little bit more of impersonal fight. Maybe they're going to do like a tracer type thing, tracer McCree, tracer again. Maybe they're going to do some dive. I would like to see some dive, but who knows? I don't know what these people are. They're people and they do stuff.
That they are. So just getting a second to make sure these teams can both get ready, as we've got social distancing, just getting something finalized before we head into this next match.
Yeah, definitely interested. Like I said, I definitely want to see like 'cause when you're having your other 2 maps, right? When you have your control points, it's generally like a completely different game. So it's always nice to watch control point.
All right, now we got our readies out of both teams. So here we go. Lijiang Tower, 3rd map of the night,
Now arriving
playing
at
for the match win.
Tower.
As both these teams, they've played respectably so far. I think that's the takeaway here, is either these teams are both good or these teams are both really bad, and we may not know that for a few weeks.
Everyone is great. No one's bad. That's why I'm a fucking rebel. You're a Baddy League. How does that feel?
Don't worry, we'll break you in very soon.
Is that a promise or wink wink?
So Lijiang Tower here.
Alright, like I said, I'm interested to see if they're going to pull like a tracer. Maybe they could do Pharah right here. Who knows? They'll stick with the same shit. Well, anyway, so we're going to see once again the Symmetra and the Soldier, which it's kind of an interesting combo, and it's a nice... Oh, never mind, it's a Pharah without a Mercy.
You did just ask. I was going to ask, how viable is the Pharah with Mercy disabled?
I mean, it sucks. But
well,
it's still
Senpai agrees because he's swapping off of it. So we've got Soldier Symmetra in one direction, McCree May in the other, as both these teams maybe starting to settle into what works for them. As Baptiste Anna actually coming out of social distancing here, so there's some very heavy heals as they have just rushed onto this point. Going to try to control this nice and early. As Give Reinhardt wall climb was kind of split for a moment there, but they're able to get everyone kind of back together. It's a lot of poke going out here.
Yeah, one thing that's really scary is that if you have your shield just straight up at all times, that Symmetra beam is going to get high charge.
Yeah, and here we go. It's uncontested. The point going over to Give Reinhardt wall climb.
Yeah, it seems like the Crystallized was playing the Mei, and they want to get that Mei wall, but that TP kind of, negates what.
Yeah, Morty does get a potentially big pick on a Chris DPG there, though, so this could be a chance to push in. And yeah, here we go. Wall climb gonna rush onto this point while they have numbers advantage. And here we go, Hammer being dropped. Hammer also being dropped, and it's bigger. Great out of Bart there, but I don't think it was going to matter here as his team is falling apart on this entrance.
The only thing they should do right now is just delay the card or jump off.
Yep, so that's going to be a point flips over to wall climb.
So we're going to see pretty much the same thing. Like right now we have Symmetra with the big fucking walls. Who knows what's going to happen here? If they're going to use it wisely, it's going to be a fluke, but we'll see.
Yeah, this is actually really close to 5 ults available for social distancing. So as they're all heading over towards White Room here, there will not yet be any defensive ults available to give Reinhardt wall climb to negate this entrance. So if they go quick here, they'll have the opportunity for something big, but it's going to be the Mei wall that splits them on this entry. They're all pressing Q, but they're not finding any kills just yet. As now people are getting very split. Bart very far away from his team, zoning members back as his team is getting a ton of kills here on the point. And this is looking like it's going to be an easy point flip back to social distancing.
Yeah, you're going to take that. And that wall, that definitely had a pretty big split. It was definitely a lot nicer than other walls I've seen.
Yeah, so it did require all the ults though, as there was basically nothing popped from Give Reinhardt wall climb, and now they are going to be approaching this point with a lot of ults available very quickly. So keep an eye for these tank ults. They also have Lucio ult in a second here. They won't be too far behind on a Blizzard or a Moira, but they've lost that Moira on this entry. They've lost that Reinhardt on this entry, and now Spades. No, that's not Spades popping up. That was Spades popping an ult. His team had already lost the fight and he popped the ult. Unfortunate.
That's pretty unfortunate. It's one of those things where, like, when you're really close to ults, it's pretty important to, like, get those ults and then to use them, rather than, like, losing a lot of damage, losing a lot of health, losing a lot of shield, and then popping it.
Oh, they popped a sound barrier in there too.
Oh, they did.
I missed that, and that's actually going to be huge. And that's unfortunate. They popped ults kind of after they already taken kicks there. They probably should have saved these ults to have all the ults for one fight, you would think. But here we go. Josh Danko going in. Hammers into a shield. Gets his team hammer. Now snipes down. Only a few seconds to go here is social distancing has to get onto this point. As, the Mei wall blocks me too. Here we go. The members that are alive making their way onto this point. K4 going down here. Chris DPG getting some finishing flanks here, now getting everyone into his sights, going to try to finish off the last remaining members. Is this overtime meter ticking away? Teleport towards the point to get some respawns back, as this is a very outmanned fight here. Josh and Spades both going down. Crystallized ice blocked onto this point, but very outnumbered, and it should be just a matter of seconds here, as this really taking its time there. They do get Morty does get a pick out of Chris DPG, and actually this Tracer kind of buying some valuable time here. Well, it was buying some valuable time here, but not enough. The long overtime fight finally going the way we assumed it would. It's social distancing from the cart, taking round 1.
Score
Yeah, they're going to grab that one.
2-1.
But we'll see the next match. Like I said, give Ryan wall climb. They're going to get this one, because I believe, !
Alright, well, let's see if belief is enough. Is social distancing going to try to play for the 2-0 here?
If I don't know, like, if Crystallized plays a different hero, but it's unfortunate because if versing the teleport is really hard for Mei to pop off as much as she can.
4, 3.
So I'm curious if they're going to do a switch off or anything, which they did, and they have a Reaper. I actually like this quite a bit more. Reaper's going to put a lot of pressure onto either the flanks or onto the tanks, and it seems like that might be just what they need.
Yeah, I like that swap as well, so let's see Crystallized can he successfully brawl out here as everyone wastes no time getting straight out of this point. Very chaotic fight here. This members being traded in both directions so far. Social distancing up a man for now, but no, yes. Having both of these teams now down, but it's looking like it's going to be a cap heading over to give Reinhardt wall climb as the remaining members of social distancing need to decide if they're resetting or not. You see K4 kind of Lucio speeding his way out there, but going to get staggered at the end.
Yeah, the double shield has been really effective right now. It's been definitely doing a lot more help. So it looks like they're going to start pressuring in, but we'll see if this double shield's going to hold off just enough.
There we go. Bark coming forward, and that's going to be a nice fatty shatty. Should just be one ult required to mop this one up. Social distancing from the cards. Going to hold on to this point still.
It was interesting to watch make the choice of playing both of the doors rather than sticking to like one side of the door when they were trying to enter in, because they could have gotten flanked pretty hard. Gotta be careful about that, but I guess then no one's really flanking in this game. It's pretty much just brawl on brawl.
Yeah, I respect some good old death brawl comps. So here we go. Josh Danko leading his team in towards this doorway again. Shield very low, has to be dropped here. It's Reinhardt wall climb now making their way in here, but they're just pushing into a Sigma ult, knocking everyone right on up. Morty takes out Senpai on this entry as the ults are all starting to be pushed. 70% on this point, so this is going to be, if this is a long fight, it's going to put give Reinhardt wall climb in a very bad spot, and they are not really pushing this one any faster, so they are committed. They are probably going to have to win this fight to take this map, and they are not doing that. They are falling apart on this entry. Although Morty is flanking around and may have a chance to flip this point at the end. Actually, I'm starting to think I stand corrected here, as this point is a nice long drawn out fight, but it looks like the calculations were worth it. This point is gonna flip.
It's gonna flip. It's also very dangerous right now. The only ult that they might be getting pretty soon is Reapers, and it could be very dangerous. They definitely have to find a way to hold defensively against the onslaught of what is social distancing from the car.
Yeah, so let's see, Senpai dropping that teleporter just to scare. Oh, Morty! Oh, Morty, no! She's been doing so well in a lot of these fights, but gets picked off early, and now this is the game-deciding fight potentially. Will be a 5v6 for social distancing from the cars. Here we go. Bark coming on in, takes out K4, takes out Josh Danko. This is looking very good for social distancing as they want to flip this point.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate to see. You definitely don't want to see a pick like that so early on.
Yeah, Morty did make it swap out of this tracer, makes it back to point stalled sometime, but not enough. And now the point gonna flip. We're 97 and counting. Will anyone touch this point in time? Josh Danko on the point. He has no ult available, just trying to buy time. He does get some members of his teeth here onto the point. He hasn't actually taken that much damage yet. And now here we go, though. Bark in the other direction gets a huge hammer shatter, and that will likely be it.
Yeah, I definitely don't see Reinhardt wall climb with something about them, whatever their name is. They're definitely not going to take this one. It's going to be unfortunate, but it's going to be a clean sweep in social distancing from the cart.
Yeah, social distance from the cart manages to round this one out after a slow start to the night. So
yeah.
Play of the game going to be Otterbotter on the Baptiste. I didn't know that was possible.
Otterbotter.
But Otterbotter coming through. Yeah, just big heals, man. I assumed there was going to be like eating an ult with the invulnerability field, but Otterbotter, no, we left click here.
Yeah, some pretty nice heals. Some pretty nice on. I say nice heals on both sides. Probably. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm just gonna say everyone did a great job. You guys are all cool.
Well, everyone did a great job, especially social distancing from the cart, taking that match win. So congrats to them. And thanks for everyone for watching so far. We'll be back in a couple of minutes as we cut over. The stream is going to cut for a moment as we cut for VODs, so you may need F5 in a moment. We'll be back in a moment with Mad Base versus No Talk We Yangi, so stay tuned.